Yo, how you? We got a single soul to watch Wrestlemania Sunday. Made the number myself. I am here for the main event. But as far as impressive things, Obafemi just won. And for this to be, a 7 minute match, 8 minute match, from what I have actually personally just seen, I kind of personally believe this is one of the better Brock Lesnar matches because of the fact that there was somebody to match him in power. So it's really interesting to see where this young man actually goes from tonight. Which, if they do this right, it's going to be interesting to see what the end of the night looks like. Because I didn't think about this before, which is the reason why I'm coming alive and wish to talk about it. With the fact that Obafemi is the way in which the people him up the way that it is. Now got me thinking about this main event. And I started sitting and talking to a friend earlier and started talking about some predictions in which of what could happen. I didn't think of it until I pressed the go live button. With the fact that Obafemi and that he's being put together as this new star in which that should just overtake a lot. Obafemi versus Roman Reigns does sound like a really, really interesting match on paper. How do we get to that point? How does that look? I have no idea. So we'll have to see how that future goes. With that also being said and done, it's going to be a really, really interesting night. And watching this young man just sit up there and oh my God, look at him assorted. Look at Brock Lesnar just getting up. Whoa. Oh. Is he retiring? Is Brock Lesnar retiring? Brock Lesnar's retiring right now. I'm so glad I'm on live. Hold on. Brock Lesnar is retiring right now. What? Brock Lesnar just retired. No, I was like, what's all that? All that is great. No, he just took off his gloves. He just took off his boots. He just hugged Paul Heyman, and he is walking out of the ring. What is that you think? Everybody thought it was blocked. I did not expect Brock Lesnar to throw his boots down right now. But I am on live, and I just started thinking about something. As I saw Overton drop Brock Lesnar, I think Roman Reigns really too. For one reason only. Reigns versus Overton. Brock wasn't ready when he fought The Rock. And no, I don't think he's ready either. But when Brock Lesnar's debut on his first year, in that first year, he fought The Rock in SummerSlam and got the title within his first 6 months in the company. And they're trying to make Obafemi be like Brock Lesnar. That makes the most perfect sense to me. Even I think of everything, didn't even come up with this thing. I can't believe Brock Lesnar is walking away from the ring and retiring right now. Not now, not right now. At the end of the year, SummerSlam, sure. Oh my lord. I'll call you back later. All right, there. As you can see, even I am still shocked off of what I'm seeing right now. And as I said, I think of most angles. And I never even thought that Brock Lesnar would be doing this right now. Wow. I think we all need a minute in which to comprehend this. So, in order to do that, I am going to continue where I left off yesterday in my WrestleMania lesser known fact. If I'm not mistaken, the last WrestleMania I left off with was WrestleMania 8. So I'm going to start with WrestleMania 18. Repeating, Rock versus Hogan overshadowed the actual main event. Crowd turned Hogan face mid WrestleMania 19, 2003. Brock Lesnar shocking star. I mean, Brock Lesnar's shocking shooting star press watch nearly ended his career. Steve Austin's final match, though unannounced at the time. WrestleMania 20, 4, where it all begins again. Slogan reference, 10-year anniversary. Both world title winners Benoit and Guerrero later became controversial figures. WrestleMania 21, with the Hollywood thing. Batista and John Cena began this era as top stars. WrestleMania 22, 2006. Mysterio's title win was heavily influenced by Eddie Guerrero's past. Hardcore match features a flaming table spot in Chicago. 23, 2007. Battle of the Billionaires had Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump involved. One of the highest grossing manias ever at the time. Mania 24, 2008. Flair's retirement match before later. Floyd Mayweather was paid around $20 million to do that wrestling. I wish. Shout out to Asher Speed because that dive he did last night. Kudos to you. Kudos, man. Okay. WrestleMania 25, 2009. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels stole the show over the main event. One of my top 5 favorite matches of all time. This WrestleMania, I didn't watch it. I did watch Rock Austin. I watched Hogan Andre, which kudos to that match being immortalized into the Hall of Fame. And that statue of the Slam of Andre. What an actual work. The other match in which I watched was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart Iron Man match. Those were some really, really good matches and times. Took me right back to the early 20s of wrestling. Okay. Other fact of WrestleMania 25. Often called the greatest WrestleMania match ever. WrestleMania 26, 2010. Michaels was legitimately emotional. This was meant to be his true retirement. Bret Hart wrestled his first WWE match in 13 years. WrestleMania 27, 2011. The Rock hosted, but barely wrestled. The main event, Cena versus Miz, was widely WrestleMania 28, 2012. Once in a lifetime, Rock versus Cena happened again the next year. End of an era match. Triple H at HBK WrestleMania 29, 2013. MetLife Stadium, attendance record at the time. CM Punk versus The Undertaker was built around Paul Bearer's death. And the last one before, oh my God! Okay, Rey Mysterio. That mustache looks really, really weird underneath that mask for Rey Mysterio. Last step before we get into the match. WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan wrestled twice in one night. Undertaker's streak ending shocked even the people backstage. When I found out about that story, I think the only people that knew that he was going to lose that streak was him, Vince McMahon, and like 2 other people. So it was a shock to the entirety of everything. But now that we're here, we're looking at everything. Rusev's already in the stage. Rey Mysterio's already coming out, looking, as superhero-ish as possible. for Wrestlemania as only Rey Mysterio can. My favorite Rey Mysterio mask of all time, which I actually didn't even buy because of the fact Mr. Bouncy, this crowd around this stage, they suck. I bought my favorite mask, fitting for the shirt that I'm wearing, but CM Punk's SCS mask, by far one of my favorite masks ever made. This is a close second to Rey Mysterio's Joker mask. That was great. And the fact that all these entrances is going to go to almost 640, and this match is going to be less than 20 minutes, is going to make a lot of people mad too. So we'll have to see what the action is for that as we continue. I'm also going to see if I can actually get myself somebody in which to actually watch what we're doing or what I'm doing here. Oh, oh, look at that mask. Okay, I love that. I love this. Jenny McDonough going right towards Javon Evans' legs. That's going to be really interesting. To see how Javon Evans is about to be in it. Rusev already been taken out, and JD McDonald's been taken out. And what I want to see is what's it like is about to happen. And all three masked wrestlers are about to start wrestling at the same time. And hopefully, soon enough, they will actually fight each other, which will geek me out. Yes! Do it! Whoa. looking at Rusev in this match, you know who I used to like in ladder matches? Kane. Because that man used to be so huge. And for him to be in a match with all of these high flyers and being the big man inside of that match, it's nice to kind of see Rusev kind of in that way. He probably needs a lot more pushing, but looking at this now is interesting in itself to watch the match. Oh, nice Hurricane. Oh, mm, oh, oh, mm, oh, or JD McDonough. Simon Miller's going to go insane. And Javon Evans bringing on. Oh, that's a nice moment, Javon. Oh, and of course, my internet signal sucks, so everything just kind of stopped. Where it stopped is Rey Mysterio uh, grabbing a ladder and looking like he's about to climb up, which should be interesting in itself to process and see where the rest of this crazy match goes. Penta, Javon Evans, and back in the ring, raising the trio, low inside the ladder. What a hit! Oh my God! Javon Evans killed him. Oh, leg drop to Rey Mysterio trapped in the ladder. Mm. While this is all, finishing itself out, I am going to run through some more of these WrestleMania. There's only, I believe, 11 more to go. 10 more to go. 'Cause I don't know if you're getting your stuff. WrestleMania 31, 2015. Seth Rollins cash in created the first main event cash in at Mania, heist of the century. One of my top five favorite moments in all of WrestleMania. RKO out of nowhere became viral. Also, 11 years. WrestleMania 32, 2016. Largest attendance claimed in WWE history. Over 100,000 debated. Injuries forced a weaker card than WrestleMania 33, 2017. Oh my God. Wow. I don't think Ray's done a West Coast Cup in a while. Oh, WrestleMania 34, 2018. I remember this that without even looking at it. Probably the longest WrestleMania in history. That track almost lasted until 20 a.m. And I had to go to work at 7 a.m. and I watched the entirety of that WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey's debut exceeded expectations. WrestleMania 35, 2019. First women's main event in WrestleMania history. Finished spot. Ronda's shoulders still defeated. WrestleMania 36, 2020. According to WrestleMania. First match for no crowd, COVID, cinematic matches, mirror match, the Firefly Funhouse match, changed WWE style in general. WrestleMania 37, 2021. First WWE event back to fans post COVID. Rain delay on night one caused no time to WrestleMania 38, 2022. Stone Cold returned for an actual match unexpectedly. Cody Rhodes returned to WWE after AEW. WrestleMania 39, 2023. First Mania full fully under Triple H's creative influence. Roman Reigns winning shocked fans expecting Cody's WrestleMania 40. First Mania as a true two-night plus one payoff event. The Rock heel turn added major. Okay, WrestleMania 41. First Mania clearly shaped by the new era structure. This was the first WrestleMania with creative direction, production flow, and pacing were completely settled into the post WWE leadership shift. No transition period anymore. A lot of fans don't realize how much needed the show went to work. Production scaled back slightly in purpose. After the massive, almost overloaded spectacle WrestleMania 40, WWE officially simplified parts of stage and presentation to keep from storytelling. It wasn't budget cuts, it was a creative choice. Matches were given more time than this one. Several matches included were longer than their original internal timing. Instead of cutting them, producers left them free, something WWE historically didn't always allow it to do. Heavy emphasis on long-term storytelling tales. Compared to some past media, they relied on sharp returns. WrestleMania 41 really wanted some stories that had been building for months. That's subtle, but it makes a shift in philosophy. Backstage coordination was tighter than usual. Fan experience tweaks you might not notice on TV. Things like improved crowd flow, merch setup, entry timing were adjusted based on complaints from WrestleMania 39 and 40. With a 75-yard uh, walkway to the ring, I think they didn't get that. But with everything being said and done, I'm here for the Javon Evans moment. Oh, G Cutter, do it, Javon. He can be the youngest champion ever. Do it, Javon. Oh, we all actually, for those people that can't watch WrestleMania or isn't around in which to be somewhere to watch WrestleMania, and the fact that this is on in every bar in America, and the fact that these were two really, really surprising good matches for Sunday WrestleMania. Good job for Penta retaining. Actually, other than the fact of Randy Orton not winning last night, my WrestleMania card, I believe, is unblemished. Mm, mm. Oh, mm, was a really good match. Not my favorite ladder match at WrestleMania. And you ask most people what's their favorite. They're going to say Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. Love the match. Neither one was my favorite wrestler growing up, so I didn't really pay attention to it. The one in which I did was CM Punk's first Money in the Bank ladder match, which I believe was at WrestleMania when he won. Mm. Mm. Oh, wow. Correct. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Boba Femi if everything processes. Mm. I'm going to enjoy the rest of WrestleMania outside of the live. I did want to come on and get a couple minutes in. For those who will end up watching this, um, thank you. I really did this knowing that nobody was going to watch this anyway. So compared to last night, they're on the precipice of something that can be great. I'm ready to see the demon. Ready to see Rhea Ripley and see how that goes. Give me 2 seconds. And through the processing of all of that, you shouldn't do that. I'm actually on live, and if I cuss you out in the middle of a YouTube, you would be upset. You, with all that being said, and um, this match should be one for the books. We're hoping. We'll have to see how that goes. But other than that, just show you, I'll probably do a full WrestleMania breakdown and process everything of how it goes. And other than that, later.